Tonight back here at home, a Southside Pueblo neighborhood in shock after a string of violent acts and knife assaults, including a homicide. It's all under investigation right now, and we're told it started early Tuesday night on Spruce near Central. That's where we find News 5's Katie Blaze with the latest, and she spoke with some impacted by this violence. Katie.
Yeah, that's right. Police say this is an extremely rare circumstance with several random people being assaulted. The incidents forcing some people to fight for their lives, defend their families and neighbors, and sadly for one person, it ended in murder.
I just wanted to get home and stay alive.
Greg Heerman tells me he was sitting in his van on Tuesday night getting ready to go to dinner. That's when he saw a man run across the street towards him with an axe.
Broke my window, took a second swing at my van. I held the door open. He slashed the side of the door, chased me through the van out the side. We wound up on the ground. He swung at me for my head. I put my arm up.
Heerman able to knock the man down, who then ran away, his injuries forcing him to go to the emergency room.
I have a cut on my head, contusion on my arm, cuts on my legs.
His story, just the start of a violent rampage in the neighborhood. About 3 hours later on Lake Avenue, Yolanda Gomez says her dad was assaulted by a man, the description matching the one from Heerman's attack. Gomez tells us when a man knocked on the door, he asked for someone they didn't know. He left and then came back.
He was trying to open the door, he kicked the door. I went to go get my dad, and he was stabbing the door with the knife that he had.
When her dad confronted him,
pulled the knife out, went after my dad, and grazed him across the chest and on the back right here with the knife. Dropped the knife, took off running.
Just a few minutes later, another call came in, this one back on Spruce Street.
Officers contacted several neighbors who were restraining the male suspect on the ground. They were restraining him because he was assaulting a 75-year-old male in a wheelchair.
Police say as the suspect was being held on the ground, he stopped breathing and was taken to a local hospital.
While investigating this active disturbance, officers were approached by another neighbor from 4 houses down who had stated she saw a deceased male in her yard.
Police treating this incident as a homicide. As for the suspect taken in, police say he's a 34-year-old who is facing 3 charges of attempted murder and is currently a suspect in the homicide. This is the 10th homicide in Pueblo this year. As far as the man who was murdered, we don't know much about him yet, but some neighbors tell us they know him as Don, a nice older gentleman who's lived in the neighborhood for years. Now, police ask that if anyone has information about these assaults or the homicide, to please call the department. And we, of course, will continue to keep you updated on this as the investigation continues. Always watching out for you, Pueblo. Katie Blaze, News 5.